If you're a fan of old school bodybuilding, then make sure to check out Sups the Movie. Filmmaker Alex Ardenti explores the $40 billion sports supplement industry, delving into the origins, evolution, and current state of supplements used by millions of fitness enthusiasts worldwide, available at Amazon and Vimeo.
Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookham here. I wanted to really do, after a few fans requested it, a video specifically on the first bodybuilding magazine in history, which you're seeing right now. That's the Sandow'S magazine, volume 1. Now this particular magazine started on July, and you can see that yourself, of 1898. And this volume, which is the very first volume, actually began from, as you see, July 1898, covered the first 6 months up to December 1898. Okay, that's very important. I'm actually using a really cool little device that I got given as a Father's Day present, and I hope that the video is stable. It's actually got a light that comes over the top, so it's ideal for doing book presentations, and again, that's a big thank you to my wife for that. So initially it was called Physical Culture, but later Sandow's Magazine. Now because this is the bound edition, you can see that they've already changed it later on. Probably 6 months later they published this, after the original magazines were published, and came out with Sandow's Magazine as a bound volume, because at the time, I believe, you also had Bernard McFadden, who also had Physical Culture magazine. Being obviously from Eugene Sandow, we can see here a great image of Eugene Sandow. I'm not sure what it says here on the side. I think yours physically, the editor. Great. Physical Culture, edited by Eugene Sandow, 1898 in London. Now, I've already marked, as you can see, some of the more important articles and things that I want to talk about. Again, this is a fan request. I think it's really cool as well to show the very first bodybuilding magazine in a little bit more detail than I did last time. So here goes. As many of you know, Eugene Sandow, of course, announced the great competition. A lot of people don't know when, but it was actually in the July edition of 1898 in Physical Culture, or Sandow's magazine. And he did so using this advertisement here. If I can just find it. Oop, wrong one. There it is. The Great Competition. The Great Competition. And as you can see, we have here the prize money, which is 1,000 guineas in bold, and it will be awarded, as it says, in order to promote the spread of physical culture and to afford encouragement to those who are anxious to perfect their physiques. Let me blow that up, actually. Hope you can read that. Can you read that? There we go. And to the middle. Perfect. In order to promote the spread of physical culture and to afford encouragement to those who are anxious to perfect their physiques, the proprietors of physical culture propose to hold a unique competition, to the winners of which prizes of the value of over 1,000 guineas will be awarded. And it continues on to say that the prizes will be awarded as follows. A statuette, of which, you see that, of which a photograph appears on this page, representing, so the statuette, of course, being this statue right here, representing Mr. Sandow holding a barbell in solid gold. In solid gold. Can you believe that? That's the statement that was given. Of course, that was never true. If you know your history, and I'll tell you anyway, because most people don't know this, but what actually happened was that Eugene Sandow, being a great promoter and all that, lied. It was never solid gold. And when Steve Reeves was awarded this in the 70s, I believe, by Serge Nubret after he found it, his wife was cleaning the statue. And as she cleaned it and scrubbed it, the gold came off, and underneath was just bronze. So it actually was just coated in gold. It was just a fine gold coating on the outside, as they call it. I think it's called gold leaf that they use, right? And it wasn't solid gold. It would be worth millions of dollars if it was. And yeah, it would never be worth 500 pounds, that's for sure, if it was solid gold. That's a lie. The second one, of course, was going to be silver, and the last one in bronze. And yeah, apparently the silver one was destroyed during the World War or never found again. The bronze one obviously was handed to Steve Reeves in 1950. So this was the actual first official announcement of the great competition, the very first bodybuilding competition in history, which was held in September 1901. Of course, I visited the place in London, and I showed that in a video recently in my bodybuilding tour of London, where it was in the Royal Albert Hall, of course. That's the rear of the original Sandow statuette. Again, from this very first advertisement on the great competition. Another great article that I found within this first volume was in the August edition, and it goes through some of the really interesting stuff that I've actually been talking about today, which is, of course, these days, I should say, which is, of course, the Bronze Era method of muscle control. Basically, the ability to voluntarily contract your own muscles to bring out their definition, to bring out the muscularity. As you can see, this young man here developing his biceps peak. For Christ's sake, look at that. Without the use of a barbell. Damn, I mean, that says a lot, doesn't it? That's incredible. Look at the split on his bicep. Look at that. It's just fantastic. So, it's amazing what you see when you start opening these old volumes from the 1800s. The techniques. I mean, he had pretty good muscularity too. Like, you can't really see much fat on that physique right there. It's pretty fantastic. There it is, all that chest expansion, calf work. Pretty decent physique. I mean, this guy's now showing off his traps there, Pretty decent physique for a person that's not using barbells, as it says, physical culture without exercise. And this is a whole workout as to how to work out at home without the aid of barbells and dumbbells. In the Bronze Era, lots of physical culturists and bodybuilders would build their physiques without the aid. It's unbelievable, without the aid of a dumbbell, a barbell, or even cables. As we continue, we can see some really cool old pictures. Here we have feats of strength and developing forearm strength with chairs. I mean, really incredible stuff. Physical development of the woman, as you can see, some really cool old images there. But anyway, there's also, of course, swimming. I believe I saw, there's another ad again. Physical culture back then, basically seeing swimming, tennis, involved, of course, sports, right? And that's really important to understand. Fencing, that's a sport, right? Horseback riding, right? Another sport. So it wasn't just, there you go, horses. It wasn't just about bodybuilding. Sandow's Magazine, or Physical Culture, was anything regarding sport and the culture of physical activity. That's what it was really about. That's what you learn by reading these old magazines. That, health could be attained in many, many different ways. Ave Caesar, te morituri salutant. Wow, I mean, incredible. Anyway, I'll move on to the other ads that I want to, or the other, I find the other interesting articles. Here we have archery, again, more sports. And here is one of the things I marked as being interesting, and that is some of the competitors. Now we can see some entrants for the great competition. We can see some of these guys here. You can see the light build. They're not exactly bodybuilders at best. They're athletic. Yeah, so, and this is kind of an advertisement from Sandow to basically go, if you've got an athletic build, please join, please join the great competition. There were others, of course, here, which I'll skip on to now. Oh, no, I wanted to show you this awesome article, The Physical Education of Girls. And you can see that back then, it's got, what I like about it is that it shows the old gyms as they were back then. You've got these swinging Indian clubs and bells. You've got rings. You've got gymnastic equipment. As you can clearly see, parallel bars, the horse. Right? Women using light dumbbell system. Here we've got again the Indian clubs. So yeah, I thought it was awesome. A quick look at physical culture of females. Here we have more entrants from the great competition. Again, these are less flattering than the others. The only guy with a decent physique here, athletic wise, is this guy here. The rest, I hate to say, don't look like they ever did a push-up in their lives. So. But that was the standard of competition back then. I mean, it just makes you wonder how much things have changed. In that respect, I would say for the better. But I'm not talking about the drug culture, of course. Here we have more entrants for the competition. And you can see that these are even far greater developed than the previous page, with some showing some very decent muscularity, definition. Of course, not overly grown muscles, but that wasn't the idea of the great competition. Sandow was looking for athletic, aesthetic physiques, not necessarily muscle, just pure muscle building like it is nowadays, bodybuilding. That's basically what I wanted to show you. I showed you now in more detail what the first volume of Sandow's magazine was. Sandow's magazine, that's the first volume, also called Physical Culture magazine, the first bodybuilding magazine on the planet. Pretty awesome stuff. I'm really glad that I got my hands on it because I could show you what's inside. As you can see, there was a lot of advertisement on the great competition. There was also a lot of information on sports, because Sandow was all about promoting health, an active life, and of course a lot on the techniques that were used back then, light dumbbell systems, Indian clubs, gymnastics, and of course muscle control, which seems to be the theme on my channel that seems to be really capturing a lot of attention, especially with my recent video on Billy Ralph and on Fred Rollon. These Bronze Era techniques have been really capturing people's attention, and I plan to bring more of it, definitely. Yeah, so I do hope you have enjoyed watching this video on the first bodybuilding magazine in history, with the advertisements on the great competition, with photos of some of the competitors and a lot of Bronze Era material on how they trained. I find it fascinating. This particular volume has 400, 500 pages, and to be honest, I've only skipped through it. I can only imagine what information lies within to share with you in the future on this channel when I have a chance to actually go through these articles in greater detail. If you've enjoyed the video, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so, and leave me your comments. And of course, let me know what you think of this magazine. Yeah, that's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now.
Now, if you're interested in learning Sandow's different bodybuilding systems, please visit my website where you will find the most comprehensive collection of ebooks on the subject. Everything from Sandow's chest expander system, which involved pulling and extension movements, to the light dumbbell system, which involved pressing, curling and flexing movements, as well as the Sandow Developer, which essentially was one of the first cable stations available for the home gym. All the relevant ebooks to all these courses are available on my website www.goldenerabookworm.com. As a natural bodybuilder, it is imperative to know your own testosterone levels, as they are a reflection of the anabolic environment created by your diet and training. I would highly recommend using the male hormone test kit from Let's Get Checked, and make sure you use my code GOLDEN30 for a 30% discount. Again, the advantage of checking yourself regularly is that you will know how well your body is anabolically primed to put on the much desired muscle you are working for. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Vince Gironda's approach to bodybuilding, his principles, and all these tips of wisdom that he has, I mean, there's so much stuff that probably hasn't been proven by science, and it will take science to prove or disprove Vince. But to be honest, these 3 books, I believe, which I call the Classic Physique Bundle, are the best books that Vince ever came out with. And they, of course, are the Wild Physique, the Master Series, and the Pro Series. Have a look at it this way. The Wild Physique, I believe, is like the ABCs of Vince Gironda's principles to bodybuilding. He teaches you the exercises and his principles, but how do you put them together? Well, the Master Series is a 14-month program of using all of these principles, all of the diets that Vince came out with, all of the exercises, and believe me, it's a brilliant program. Many people have used it. I know personally a lot of bodybuilders that have actually used it and made fantastic results with it. And of course, the Pro Series was a book that he came out with later on, specially targeted for getting into competition. It's just these 3 books, as I call it, the Classic Physique Bundle, Vince's best work, and available, of course, at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Now, the Pro Series of Bodybuilding, which was targeted for professional bodybuilders, contains 6 programs, each of which go for 2 months each. So it's a whole year, again, in preparation for competition. Online training is now available, including my new program, Novice to Classic, a program geared towards beginners and novices looking at developing a classic physique, as well as Classic Cut, geared at those who wish to lose weight and gain muscle fast. Details available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Iron Man Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much more, and select your poster now. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/store/goldenerabookworm for merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much more. Once again at teespring.com/store/goldenerabookworm. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/goldenerabookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding.
I don't think that Bill Phillips looked at it as, I want to compete against them. I want to destroy them.
If they pass legislation basically making any type of food supplement a prescription item, that would be the end, the death of the entire food supplement industry.
Take your vitamin pill now.
In the 1960s, the sports supplement industry was barely emerging.
I think the reason why Joe Weider was so successful was he had Arnold on his side.
He wasn't selling supplements. He was in the dream business.
Joe Weider was a marketing genius.
People would say the promotions or the endorsements back then were cheesy. To me, it wasn't. I loved it.
Fitness was taking off. You know, fitness became cool. You had a lot of readers that wanted to be like the stars that they idolized.
Bill's strength is his marketing savvy. He's a marketing genius.
Got it. It's only vitamin.
The right of American citizens to have free access to dietary supplements of their choice.
Consult your physician. You might as well consult the next guy you meet on the street. They don't know a damn thing about vitamins and nutrition.
The dietary supplement industry became the #2 most regulated industry. Nuclear, dietary supplements, pharmaceutical. We're more regulated than drugs.
They come in and you need to allow the FDA. They have jurisdiction.
The enforcement is kind of the questionable side of it, and how do they really get a handle on this monster?
A lot of people tell me that the dietary supplement industry is completely unregulated. It's the wild, wild west out there. It's a free-for-all. That could not be further from the truth.
A dietary supplement is not allowed to have a side effect. I always say the pharmaceutical has to have a minimum of 100 side effects in order for it to be a drug.
And now, It's a $40 billion industry and growing.
That's the really interesting thing, is the cast of characters from the 80s, when it was kind of iffy, to now when it's a lot more legitimate.
They made it sound cutting edge, revolutionary, and different, and I want that. That's cool.
We are in this industry to improve our health. It's not just a vanity project here. We're working on our lifeline. We eat a certain way to improve our health. We train a certain way to improve our health. Supplements are just that. They supplement your work, your graft, your nutrition.
They demonize dietary supplements, but they say all you need is real food. Well, what's a real food?
They pump you up and get you hard, stronger, faster, bigger.
Doc, I want to take this weight gain. I want to take this pre-workout. No way. That stuff, we don't know what's in that. It could be, no way. I'm not going to give you, it's going to kill the industry, bottom line.
So I must have drank so much protein powder from age 15 to 18 that my head was going to explode.
I believed in metrics so much that I would probably punch somebody in the face if they tried to take it away from me.